Hey, this is Fyree THG, otherwise known as SNAT to those who see me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. And this is a bit of an update on things that have gone on currently. For starters, my series, The Fleet Saga, on Amazon.com. As of sometime soon, the 10th chapter, Part 10, Decade, will be published and available for sale for $2.99 on Amazon.com. And since I've published the very first chapter, Part 1, The Battle of Talorn, back in May, so just about a month and a half ago or so, I've got over $100 in sales, which is spectacular for something that I didn't think would ever be out in the public. Let's see. I'm gonna comment first and on that, and then go into other things. So if you've seen any of them right now, if you've seen any of my stories, it would be awesome for you to let me know what you think of them. There are 10, and the Fleet Saga series, if you saw my last video about it, it's going to be a series of 30 overall by the time it's all done. The first chapter, The Battle of Talorn, is the central pivot point of the entire series, so there will be 10 prequels, then Part 1, and then the following stories. There will be 30 in total. Anyways, I have had 2 reviews on the first chapter, and the criticism mainly seems to be that it's a bad story overall. You can't get into it, or I've had people rip me on the quote military tag that I gave it, because they were probably expecting something more, military-like, and in all reality, it's not a military piece of science fiction. It's space travel, aliens, battle, war, etc., with military aspects, because there's military ranking systems, and it's confusing, and I get that. The military rankings that I have in the first couple chapters are kind of odd, because again, when I started writing that 12 plus years ago, I was just grasping at trying to get science fiction down, proper to space travel, Star Wars, Star Trek kind of stuff. None of it makes sense, really, until you read further along in the series. Another comments I've had, aside from the basic nitpicky stuff, is it's like a comic book. Much like, okay, yeah, and I'm trying to do action. It's not exactly easy to write action and bring the action to this, to the text, to the story itself, to what's written. But if you actually have read the first one and enjoyed it somewhat, or weren't completely turned off by it, the next few do add things to it. But the first few, I say the first 3-4 chapters of the series, parts, whatever, stories in the series, are insanely pivotal, because they set the pace for the next 14 that I have written in the series. And you think those are confusing, wait till you get to the prequels, and I'm still trying to finish, sadly. Been 4 years since I started the first prequel, and I haven't even finished it yet, just because I've just so much other stuff, and it's hard to, it's again, I understand why George Lucas in my episode 1 was because it's hard to work on this, predate an established set of timeline. But again, they do get better. I think the turning point is chapter 6, the Nolarian War, if I remember correctly. That's huge. And it goes into things, and then they really start getting better and better and better. If you read any of them, I'm going to spoil it a little bit for you. I know 90% of people who are going to watch this will have no clue what I'm talking about. I'm guaranteeing you the other people who will see this, who are friends or followers or the faithful few, probably haven't read any of them. I hope somebody out there does. I hope I have a friend or two who's willing to at least give a chance. I mean, they're $3 a pop. I'm not making $1 million. I'm making barely $2 after, with royalties for each chapter that is sold, for each story that is sold on Amazon. So I'm gonna spoil this a little bit, and I don't like doing it because I want you to read them all in their entirety. If you've read, I think it was 4, is when the two of the main characters Tahiri and Jacqueline, Lena Tahiri and Jacqueline Ordonez Ruiz got married, because that's the big love story in the first chunk of the series. Which I don't really get into in terms of the emotional aspect and stuff, because I'm not making a romance novel. I mean, really. There's the relationship they have, which, you know, they get married in the 4th chapter, I believe, and then shortly, maybe the next one or the one after that, Jacqueline reveals that she's pregnant, and this whole thing starts. And then, if you read the first one, this is spoilers to those who haven't read them, but I hope this intrigues you to actually read them. The first one, when Tahiri and them go to the detox planet Fexerantivsky. Yes, it's weird. I'm just writing random crap. And Tahiri is under the control of Tukati, the detox supercomputer. Something happens to him, and that thing that happens to him is in a big trigger sparks what happens to Jacqueline's baby when it's inside of her before. Obviously, we know how that happens. Obviously, a man and a woman get together. Birds and the bees. But something happens to her, to the baby in utero, and it just proceeds to grow and grow, you know, exponentially, you know, unnaturally. It grows and matures rapidly. Long story short, baby, you know, is born. That baby then continues to grow. This is total spoiler. And as the baby grows, things start to happen, and by 10 decade, babies, like the kid, their son, Callan Tahiri, is not your typical little boy, and it's a real creepy thing I wrote. It is. It's a really whoa. Long story short, again, spoiler. I don't want to say everything that happens in chapter 10, but you want to read it. It's like, whoa. It is. I still find it hard. So I still find it hard reading it or even thinking about it, because I wrote the crap and it's just like, why did I do that? But that was when I originally started the series. Again, no idea it was going to actually have it be a series. It was just going to be a 1 or 2 shot attempt at science fiction, you know, proper science fiction. But it goes to the point where, yeah, I mean, what happens in 10 really is like the pivotal. I think it's like the one of the biggest parts in the entire series of the 18 I've written, 20 to be, and then the prequels, you know, which predate, obviously. But it's huge. Chapter 10 is huge. That's the one I would love to see be like the biggest selling, because it's so insane. People are like, hey, read this. I've only read a few of the first ones, because honestly, if I'm picking, I mean, I would read one because it is the central hub of the series. It's where everything for the rest of the next 20 will be centered, will, you know, trail off of it, and you'll see, you know, first ones where you meet the main characters who are there for pretty much the rest of the series, with a few exceptions. I'm not gonna tell you who dies. A lot of people die. Some you don't want to die, but they do die. Some you want to die, but they don't die. So yeah. Again, I want to thank those who are watching this who have actually read them off Amazon. I know the first few are not great. I have had one person who's bought, and I'm assuming read the first 8, which is amazing. So I have one fan out there. If you see this, if somehow you see this, or you can just get a hold of me, like, thank you. I have that one fan out there who's dedicated enough. Apparently they're not nitpicky, they just want to read something science fiction-y. Because the 2 criticisms I had have been, in short, harsh, demonstrative. They've just been like, wow, okay, I get it, I do. The first one is weak. It's not bad, it's not terrible, it's not poorly written, it's just hard to get into because it's the first in the series. You can't really get into the first of the series a lot of the time because you're like, what are you doing? And people have, I don't know if there was, one of the criticisms on Amazon was hard to get into it because they don't understand what's going on. Well, do you ever go into it, something new, TV, rather be book series, TV show, movie, knowing everything about the characters? That's the whole point of a series, because again, I wasn't planning on it being a series, but it is a series. And as the series has progressed, you actually learn more about the characters. There's backstory. You just don't get it all in one freaking shot. I'm not going to make chapter 1 400 pages and 300 of that be descriptive about the character's backgrounds. Tahiri was born this. He had this happen. Although in the first one you do get some instant backstory about him because he really is the main character for the entire series, for the 20 chapter series. 18 to 20 of those done. And the last 2 he's clearly, still the main character. Because the ending is here. I haven't written it yet. It's going to be a 2-parter. It's going to be insane. It gets me emotional just thinking about it. I get emotional reading them. Currently, right now, I am typing the 13th, which is again another. It's one of those ones, those mind-blowing, series-altering chapters. Because as of 10 is where I think I really got into it. 10 is huge. 11 is another really powerful one. That one I had a hard time when I wrote it. As I got to the point when I was writing it, it's like, oh, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I don't want to do this, but I want to do this. If you're a writer, you understand. Or any creative element, you understand something like that. It's like, oh god, I don't want to do this, but I have to. Okay, so that's about the Fleet Saga. Again, Amazon.com. The first 10 are now there. 10th is publishing. It should be available anytime now. As soon as this video is on YouTube, it should be more than available. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, email me, what have you, contact me. If you read any of them, let me know. If you have criticisms about the first ones, let me know. Do it on Amazon or come to me, contact me personally. That way we can discuss things. That way I can give you a bit of a more open look at how things go, because again, the first one, no clue what I was doing. Second one, a little more. I added a little twist to it, a little dark, little okay to it. But still, it's my comparison. Look at the first couple Harry Potters compared to the last couple Harry Potters. After, I've only seen the movies, but in general, the writing of them. First ones are honestly, the first 2 are really weak. They don't start getting good until you start getting into more, the deaths of Harry's parents and the connections with Sirius Black and all the others, and you start seeing, and then, Order of the Phoenix and all those things that come back. That all the things sort of interweave, and you get, oh my god, and then again, book/part 7, it's mind blowing. You're like, okay, now 6 and 7 and some part 2 are like by far the best of the series because they're just that dark, that like, oh my god, yes, now you've established this J.K. Rowling, and that's what I'm shooting for with my series. I'm not making it with the plans of it being a movie sometime in the future. There's 18 of them, or 20, well 30 in total. I'm not doing 30 movies. That would be awesome, but I don't think that would kind of drive me nuts. It'd be summed up in maybe 4 or 5. Like maybe 3 prequels and 3. Oh wait, no, because then it's Star Wars and people would hate it. But yeah, so that's that. Okay, so that's that. And then other news, personal, because this is a half and half thing, really. If you know my cartoons on YouTube, and I'm assuming if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you see my cartoons, they're below, or there's something on the side with little screenshots, links to them. Click on one of those, watch it. I think you'll like it. Preferably one of them, not one of the older ones, but one from the last couple of years, because they're much improved. If you're also a YouTube viewer and you watch anything on channel Frederator Network, that's hard to say with a speech impediment. They do things like the big thing they're tied to is Adventure Time, but they also do other things like Bravest Warriors and Cat and Bee and a few other things. I forget other specific titles of a series, but they're good. I was contacted by them on YouTube 3 months ago, annoying to myself, and I have since contacted them back, Twitter and then email, and then got them to send me something back. They sent me back. They asked me if I wanted to join their network, be part of Frederator. I'm like, oh my god, yes. If I had seen this 3 months ago, it probably would have been taken care of earlier, but other crap has happened. And so they emailed me back a few days ago. They sent me a big old PDF file. It's the packet of what, as a member of Frederator, I can look forward to. Basically, if this fully does happen, they will link my channel on theirs. You know, I'll be part of the group. I don't know what other things like that are. Other things are going to happen, like, you know, other things that are connected to that. But I do know that as a member of Frederator, I will, obviously I will be advertising them on my channel, which is fine. I'm assuming there'll be a little ad before anything I post, which is fine. I'm not a huge fan of ads, but if it means that the fact that because I'm part of their thing, I will be getting royalties and money per view, and make good money that way. And other perks that come along with that is the possibility of merchandising or something like that. Like, oh my god, holy shit. So that was a huge thing that happened the last week. I'm like, oh my god, no freaking way. I actually have made it. I feel like I've made it a little bit more as an animator. And because of that whole thing and wanting to step up my game, I'm getting back into animating, fully animating, well, how I do my fully animating. I'm doing a new Hero Man cartoon for the first time in quite a while. Actually trying to get back into it. But I did recently order a drawing tablet off eBay. Kind of killed my account, but I got it because I wanted it. Be getting that sometime in the next, you know, 4 or 5 days, probably like by next Wednesday or so. And then I'm going to fully just start, you know, kicking butt and animating. So yeah, if you're a fan of my cartoon, show the love. I recommend the series I'm going to be pushing, and I'm probably going to even expand upon my Elemental Comics brand on YouTube, because I will be having a full drawing tablet, a full way of getting drawing done. I'll get, you know, the proper software I need. And then who knows? Because this is my lifelong dream, really. Also, I'll be doing, obviously I'm going to be doing full-on comics too. Publishing them myself. I can also nice thing is Amazon does offer a way to publish comic books, but I think I'd probably find some other way until I can make the money to properly buy the brand name off LegalZoom. Again, you've seen I've done 2 Kickstarters, and the first one was more successful than the second one. The first one wasn't even that successful, for crying out loud. I do appreciate PayPal donations. $20, hey, thanks, sweet. I will be, once I get the drawing tablet, once I get things more established, and even in, regardless of Frederator or not, if I do get picked up fully by them and I am part of their network, awesome, oh my god, yes, thank you, because that, again, will be, like, dream freaking come true. There we go. If it happens, awesome. If not, I mean, I'm assuming there's more positive to look at in this. I can't. It's hard to fathom. It's hard to comprehend that 2 things that I absolutely love doing: writing and animating, and comic and cartooning in general, I should say. Anything connected to just using my brain is actually going to be paying off. It's paying off already, and will be paying off more in the future. So yeah. So the Fleet Saga is on Amazon. I might be part of Frederator, which is insane. Expect full-on cartoons, well, to my ability, but then again, with better software, I can obviously get better results and train myself to get to where I can have, like, smooth, seamless animation. No more choppy paint animation, which is fine, but I'm over it. In relation to that, because of the changes with how I'll be doing my cartooning, the Wii-Pals series, I hate saying this because I still love doing it, but I've just sort of lost its luster because I'm just sort of dragged out on it. I've been doing the comics and the cartoons now for, what, 7 years? That's insane. I'm kind of over it, and I might be ending it. I could still do it occasionally by request. Somebody wants to see a Hank the Shy Guy cartoon or see Boxy come back for an episode? Sweet, okay, cool. Phil will still be around because Phil, as you know if you follow it, is Hero Man. So, he won't be going anywhere, although I'm gonna, you know, cut that tie. There'll be a few loose references, a few little, oh yeah, remember that? Yeah, okay. Oh, that's who, you know. Like in the movie, House I Kick Your Ass, Hero Man. Well, you know, what about your brother? I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's really like the last little tie-in I have between the Hero Man and its, you know, patriarch series. But because Elemental Comics, with being Hero Man being Elemental comic character, and all that being under the EC brand, hashtag, that will be like, that's really like the starter. That's like the little step. That's the first step. Second step is to fully start doing my main character, my main series. It's going to start with, I'm probably going to start with comics, see how well I can get those done with a tablet and with proper software. You know, 20-page comics may or may not be colored. I think I'll just do black and white because that's how I draw them. You know, my original on paper, or just black and white. Shading probably, you know, what I can do. I'll figure out what I can do. It'll be a test, you know, for the first, you know, few tries with my tablet and with new software. But it will be, you know, something. It'll be part one, and I'll probably just buy a domain name, start a website. It won't be much of anything. I got to figure out a good way to get a website done, to advertise and to eventually sell. There'll be, you know, samples by, you know, cover in the first 2 pages, you know, hey, read this, and then buy the rest for a few dollars. They probably, yeah, again, it's all a matter of what happens between now and whenever, really. But again, the goal is to get, you know, Elemental Comics properly established as a brand name. So I will be needing money. And again, if things pan out, you know, making money off Amazon, like if I can make money off of YouTube for my cartoons, then awesome. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm going to end this here before it goes too long. Subscribe, like, follow, etc. Yeah. Peace. Thanks.